Okay, DIYers, as you can see, this outlet has failed, and I think we're going to try to see what we can do to clean this up and fix it and sort of do the whole shebang. And so I'm going to start with a let's remove the cover plate. So I think that's where we're going to have to begin. And we got lucky; there was no fire here or anything. But woo, not good, not good, not good. All right, and okay. Oh, it looks like I see where it failed. It looks like if you take a look here now, I'm looking at the first time too. It looks like this actually chipped away, and this metal must have made contact and shorted it out. So I think with a quick repair, we can, or not repair, replace. We can change out the outlet. Of course, obviously the cover plate. And I think I'm going to try to, oh, I guess this does clean up. I was going to just maybe try to put maybe a quick coat of paint around this and let it dry, and then we'll finish up the work. I'll do that first. I'll do the cosmetic first, let the paint dry. Then we'll kill the power and we'll change out the outlet. Okay, I'll see you then. Okay, we're back. I'm going to try to scrub this up as best I can. We'll try to get this dry. I really don't think this is gonna clean all the way up. So I think what I'm gonna do is we're gonna get a paint can and we're gonna get an old brush, and let's see if we can clean this up a little bit. I'm going to try to match the color here, but that's not so easy. Let's see if I can. Bear with me one moment. I'm sure this is like watching paint dry. Oh, wait! Do you see what I did there? Oh, man. I'm cracking myself up. All right, so I got the color for this room, and let's go ahead and get a dab or two of paint here on the brush. Not too much. And let's see if we can sort of clean this up a little bit. It does not look quite so burnt up. And I think I'm going to do this before I change out the outlet, because then once I change out the outlet, I don't want to get paint on the new outlet. So, and I didn't do the best job here, but I'm trying to keep it off the molding and woodwork. Probably should have used some tape or something, but all right. I think it'll have to be okay. Okay, all right. So I think that's pretty good for the cleanup. Like I said, I got a new outlet plate and new outlet. So at this point, I think I want to let this dry a little bit. So I'll bring you back once I start doing the change out. Okay. Okay, fans, we're back. Yeah, having some troubles with the lighting and a few other things because I have killed the power. Couldn't find the circuit, so I just went with the whole house. I have my non-contact voltage tester. We're going to put it in here. Make sure that we do in fact have the power dead, which we do. Remember, always safety first when you're working around electricity. And once we've confirmed that, we can get to disassembling this. All right, so I'm going to grab just your basic. Great thing about this job is it does not take any specialized tools. This is just your basic tools. Flathead screwdriver for the outlet cover, and Phillips basically, I think, for everything else. This is an old outlet, so it may have slotted or flathead for the terminal connections, but you're not going to need any specialized tools. So we'll start. There should be 2 screws that mount it to the box, and we are going to remove those so that we can get access. God, this is not working out well for me, I'll tell you that. I cannot seem to get this light set up so that it does not freaking, all right, okay, there we go. And we will remove these screws. Yeah, this outlet just, I guess there's service life for everything, including electrical outlets, even though there's no moving parts. It's probably a blessing in disguise. This is a non-grounded 2-prong outlet, and we're going to update it so that it's a little safer. We're going to, oh, it does look like we have a ground here. Okay, I wasn't sure. So we even have a ground. I don't know, it wasn't really even fastened that well. We do have a plastic receptacle box, so I guess that is good. I probably don't need any electrical tape to wrap the terminals. So it actually looks like someone, odd. Looks like someone updated it, but they went to all the trouble to update the box and the home wire, the Romex, but they didn't update the outlet. Well, all right. I don't totally understand it, but all right, we're good. And as you can see, this does have, well, it's odd. It's not, that's a weird fastener. It's an X, but I don't think it's a Phillips. It's like a, I don't know if you can see it or not. I don't know if the camera picks it up. It's like, it's crosshairs for 2 flatheads. It's not, doesn't really, that's odd. Anyway, all right, so we'll disconnect the neutral. Neutral's always white and it's always silver, and then the hot side or power is always black and always gold. So we'll also disconnect this terminal as well. I hope the camera's picking this up. I might be a little too low. See if I can bring this up like that. Hope you guys can see that. I hope that's a little better. And they did a good job. I mean, they crimped the wires nicely. They wrapped them around correctly. But they didn't, I mean, look at that old, this thing is ancient. You know how old it is? Take a look. I don't know if you can see or not. I don't know if the camera picks it up, especially in the dark. It's old. It says made in USA. Come on. Nowadays, everything's like China or Taiwan or something. I mean, that's an old outlet. It is a 15 amp. So we're going to go with another 15 amp. We are going to hook up the ground. This actually looks like it's going to be easier than I thought, which is always good news. I thought I was going to have to put in a grounding lug, because typically that's what happens here. Someone brought the ground, but it didn't, just wasn't, I think it was ground to this outlet through the mounting screw, but I don't know that that's really the appropriate way to ground a device or an outlet or switch or whatever the vernacular is for this. Yeah, here you go. I don't know if you can read that. Leviton, made in the USA. You know that thing is old. Okay, well, let's move on. See if we can get actually a picture of that. And I'm gonna grab my. Well, I even bought a piece of grounding, a pigtail. I was gonna make a pigtail for the ground, but it looks like we already have one there. This is our new outlet. It also is a Leviton. I'm sure it's not made in the USA. It doesn't really say, but I'm sure it's probably freaking China or something like that. Anyway, yeah. Also 15 amp, 125 volt. As you can see, it is grounded. We have it can accept a grounding. We have the grounding lug right here. So we're going to hook that up first. Here's your gold for your hot. No, I'm sorry. There's your silver for your hot, for your neutral. Here's your gold for your hot. We will rewire this. We'll put it back up. We'll put the fresh outlet plate on, and we'll be on our. And here's the outlet plate that I bought. We'll be on our way. Just so you DIYers know, the total cost for this was $2.58. So it's very, labor is probably the biggest expense. So, you'll see how easy this is if you've never done it before. I know electricity sometimes can be intimidating, but it's about as basic as you get. And you can save yourself. I mean, I don't know what electricians charge, but I would assume labor is going to be the most expensive part of this. All right, so we're really just going to do things in reverse. I'm going to take the grounding lug first. When you hook this up, this is kind of key. Remember, righty-tighty always. You can see the crimp. If I were to hook it up this way, it would be in reverse, because as I'm tightening it, the wire will draw out. You want to tighten it so that the wire draws in. So typically what I will do is I will either move the wire or I will flip the work. If I flip the work, that will work, that will tie it, but it's hard to get to. So I think in this instance, the easiest thing is just to flip the wire. And now we're gonna just take, I hope the camera can pick this up. It's my biggest fear here. So we're just gonna pick this ground lug up. We're gonna make sure it gets crimped well around that screw. And then we're just gonna, you just tighten this grounding lug down. That's it. Make sure it's good and tight. It's good to get I think I'm using a number 2 Phillips, which seems to work the best on these. You want to get these, it's important these connections are very tight and secure, because otherwise if they're loose, then that creates resistance, which if you remember your physics class will create heat, and that's how you have a fire hazard. So you always want to make sure these are as tight as you possibly can, I mean, you don't want to break anything, but make sure they're solid, really make sure they're solid. I'm going to mirror the installation. So I'm going to hook the power leads up to the top terminals. I don't think it really matters, but the reason I say that is, and this is a plastic work box, so it's not as important, but it's a good idea to get in the habit. The terminals you're not using, you want to tighten down, get them out of the way. You don't want to create. See, if it's metal, then you could have a short. Of course, if it's metal, you'll probably also wrap it with electrical tape, but it's a good habit to get into. You want your work to be, I guess, relatively neat, I guess, rather than, better term, lack of a better term. I'm going to move these wires around, because the way I'm going to install this is going to go in with my, and I've seen it in 2 different ways, 2 different schools of thought, but I'm going to put it so that the ground pickup is at the bottom, all right, rather than the top, okay? So that means that, oh, whoops. That means that I do have to go this way, because my hot is going to be the small slot and my neutral is going to be the large slot. Does that make sense? Okay, so again, we'll go in reverse. So now I'm going to hook the neutral up, and this needs to be flipped this way, because again, you want that. It's important that these connections be solid and tight. So you want to the you want the terminal to pull the work, draw the work in. So you make the you set the hook up so that it's remember, you're tightening down clockwise. I hope the camera can pick this up. So you pull this in like this, nice and tight, and then you just want to make sure that again, that screw is firm and tight. Okay, you need to have that connect. It's crucial. You need to have that. All these connections have to be tight. Okay, otherwise you've got a fire hazard. All right, and so we have our last connection. That's it, guys, as far as the electrical connections go. Remember, we went neutral to silver, or chrome, or whatever you want to call it. And now we're going to go hot to gold, or brass, or black. Sometimes these are black on some outlets. I think on GFCIs they're black, actually. And sometimes these wires don't cooperate like they should. You want to draw that in as tight as you can to the terminal. You want that connection to be solid. You're going to tighten that down. Nice and tight. All right? Your connections are done. Now, we're going to do what they call dress the wires. I'm not sure how that name came to, but you want to sort of as neatly as you can, and sometimes this is the hard part. I got lucky. There's plenty of room in this box, and there's just this, it looks like it's a terminal outlet, so it doesn't move on to something else, so I don't have a whole mess of wires. This is about as easy as you can get, so I really lucked out. Sometimes if you have a lot of wires and or a small box, it becomes very difficult. And in fact, there's even codes as to the size of box and the amount of work that you can have in each box. And when I say work, I mean the amount of material, wires, terminals, devices. But in this instance, I've got plenty of room. I really could not, it's super easy. So we're just going to fold these wires up, or dress them, as they say, carefully and neatly. Also, I should say, if it was a metal box now, I would wrap the device with electrical tape. But again, since this is plastic, there's not really going to be a need for that. So we will just dress these wires. This ground is going to be a little difficult because of the way that I've got this set up on the device. But we're going to dress the wires neatly, or as neatly as we can. And then we're going to, you just line the screws up, the mounting screws. And just as we pulled the old one out, the new one is going to go in. So we will, this probably would go faster if I used my my power driver, but you know, sometimes it has a tendency to strip these out or round them, and this really isn't that much work, so I'm just gonna hand tighten these. These don't, this part does not have to be as tight as the terminals. I mean, you want it snug so that when people, you know, this is the mechanical connection, so when people are pulling, essentially pulling their plugs out of the outlet, you know, you don't want the outlet moving. That could be a hazard. But otherwise, this just keeps the outlet in place. You know, keeps all those electrical connections in place. So we're gonna now tighten this up. We wait till, make sure we have a good contact on the, well, good contact. I mean, it bottoms out and it's secure and it doesn't move. It's not like the terminals, like I said. I just don't want it moving in the box. And that feels pretty good. So our last step is our cover plate. This paint should be dry now. It's a little tacky, and I probably should wait. Normally I probably would wait until it's completely dry, because you don't want, a lot of times also what happens is if the paint's not totally cured, then it kind of acts as an adhesive and sticks to sticks to the outlet cover, and then it's a pain to get off. But you know, I'm traveling today. I'm going out, I'm taking a trip, so I really got to wrap things up. So I'm gonna put this on regardless, but I think it'll be okay. These, when you go shopping for these, sometimes quality control isn't the best. These mounting screws sometimes are missing from the plate cover. You're not going to be able to put it on without this mounting screw. And there's different kinds. The other kind has an open, sort of a rectangular open face, and it has 2 mounting screws. So depending upon the plate you're buying, the style outlet, carefully check to make sure you have those mounting screws. I can't tell you how many times I got home, you know, and the package was torn open, and you know there's a hole in it or something, and that screw is gone. You can't. Well, with these, with a single, you're definitely messed up. The other one, there's 2, so you could get by with just putting 1 on, but it looks incomplete. So that being said, just as an FYI, word of caution. There's also different size. You can get oversized for these too. I did not buy an oversized on this because it is so close to this jam that I was afraid it wouldn't fit. Probably aesthetically could have used a little bit more because it looks like I'm off a little bit here. There's some, or maybe I need to repaint. Maybe next time when we come through with the paint, we'll sort of clean that up. But that's it. That's basically, that's the job in a nutshell. I don't know, what did it take me, 20 minutes maybe? It's all set. I am going to turn the power back on. I'm going to get my tester just to make sure that everything is hooked up correctly. I feel pretty confident that it is, but I'm going to bring you back when I do that, okay? Okay, DIY fans, I'm back. As you can see, the power is on. I can finally remove this light. And then I have my tester here, my outlet tester. And if you take a look here, I don't know if you can see if the camera picks it up or not, but you can see it will tell you whether the outlet is wired correctly, okay? Top is open ground. In other words, if the ground was not connected, I'd be curious if the old outlet was wired that way, because while there was a ground, it didn't seem to me like it was connected, or at least not connected securely. As I showed you, you have to have those terminals screwed down very tightly to make sure you have a good connection. Open neutral, same thing. We looked at the neutral. That would mean that the neutral either wasn't connected or was connected poorly. Open hot is nothing, and that's of course the hot was the black and the brass. Neutral was the white and the silver. So you know those as well. Hot ground reverse. Any idea what that might be? Exactly. Where you've taken the hot, you flipped it to the neutral, or excuse me, the ground. I'm sorry. Hot went to the ground, and ground went to the hot. That's the hot ground reverse. And then hot neutral reverse. Hot would be to the neutral, neutral would be to the hot. And then finally correct will be these 2 green. So let's take a look. Drum roll, please. This is the first time I'm testing it too. And I don't know if the camera is picking it up, but it is wired and wired correctly. I've got 2 green on the right-hand side for both receptacles on the outlet. So we are all set to go. That's it. That was about, what, 25 minutes and $2.60 worth of materials. And we took a very dangerous situation and we've made it safe. So happy wiring to you. Oh, before I let you go, just a couple of things. As far as the materials go, I probably should have started at the beginning. Of course, you'll need the outlet plate. I did buy a grounding wire. I was going to make a pigtail because I was unsure whether there was a ground in here or not. Like I said, I got lucky. You saw the tools, flathead, Phillips. That's about it. Doesn't take a whole lot of skill. This was a real easy job, easy peasy, as they say. And yeah, it's if an outlet fails or goes bad, you should be able to change it out in about 20 minutes or so. All right, DIYers, if you like this, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to smash the subscribe button, ring that bell, and good luck to everyone. And get out there and get your hands dirty and get this stuff done.